We are here with Fly at CIUT 89.5 FM. I'm your host, Melissa Rodway, and today I have Peter Taliaferro. Peter, did I say that right?
You certainly did. Thank you so much.
Taliaferro, and he is the co-founder of International Academy Antonella in Italy, which is an Italian language school. So welcome to Fly, Peter.
Well, thank you very much, Melissa. We're very happy to be here with you.
And we have finally connected over Skype due to some timing difficulties, but you're here now and it's great to have you on the show. So why don't you tell us about the International Academy Antonella? What is this all about?
So International Academy Antonella is all about combining cultures internationally, bringing them here to our city. It's Ascoli Piceno, and letting them see a little bit about what Italian culture is, the beauty that it has to offer from its medieval origins and even pre-medieval origins right up to today. And there's so much that students can see here. Our basic package offers Italian language programs. Those are elementary language, advanced language programs. We have individually tailored language programs for each student, but we also have medieval and Italian cultural programs, which kind of complete this post-secondary centered educational program that we offer here.
And why did you want to start a school like this?
Initially in 2006, when I came to Italy for the first time, I was on a cultural exchange program that we had designed for a university that I went to in the United States. We came to Ascoli Piceno because it was a medieval city, and in fact, a lot of the reasons why we initially came are the reasons that we want to give this as an opportunity to other students. It has retained its medieval center. You know, Ascoli Piceno is such a beautiful medieval city. It's in central Italy. It has this skyline that is completely dominated by domes and spires. You know, in fact, Ascoli Piceno, by no mistake, is nicknamed the City of 100 Towers. Today, amazingly, about 50 of them are still standing. And when you're walking about the city squares and in the evening, as I often do, these towers, they seem like quiet sentinels that are presiding over this medieval city, extremely well preserved, and it's built almost entirely of local travertine marble. So if the artistic impact doesn't win you over at first, certainly the more profound aspects of the culture will.
Let's back up a bit. Where are you from originally? I thought you were from Italy.
I was originally born in California and moved many times in my life. I guess I would call Maine my home in the United States now, even though I've been living off and on in Italy since 2006. When I initially came here, I just fell in love with the culture, fell in love with the city, fell in love with a woman from Ascoli, who is my wife now, Ilaria Sabatini. She is the other co-founder of the International Academy Antonella. And in fact, the name Antonella is the name of her mother, who was an extremely strong proponent of cultural exchange programs. She brought children from Ascoli to many other parts of Europe and vice versa, bringing students here. When I saw her enthusiasm for this combined with my passion for travel and culture, we had decided that we really wanted to make this happen, build a cultural exchange institution to really show what Ascoli and the Marche has to offer. It's sort of a hidden gem, to say the least, of Italy. I think Tuscany and Lazio, even the Venice area are certainly well known outside of Italy. But Ascoli Piceno and the Marche are something special that I think needs some help to get it known internationally, and certainly would be worth anyone coming to take a peek at all of the delicious things that it has, from food to art and people.
How big is it? What's the size?
Ascoli has a population of about 50,000, although the urban area has almost twice that. The historical city was built in a defensive location between these two rivers, the River Tronto and the River Castellano, which kind of embraced the city, to use a little metaphor. They have these really deep ravines that the rivers run through, so strategically isolates the city. In fact, has fantastic origins. The city itself, they predate Rome by several centuries. It was originally established by the Italic tribes of Piceni. Now, needless to say, it certainly has a long, proud history. Was a federated city in only 268 BC. And then not even 100 years later, it was revolting against Rome. Also had a lot of many foreign influences. In the Middle Ages, the city was ruled by the Lombards, then it was ruled by the Franks. An interesting legend, actually. There was the king of the Visigoths. His name was Alaric I. And he conquered the city, but he preferred not to raze it to the ground, like was actually his way. He razed many cities to the ground after conquering them, which many rulers did. But he decided not to do this in Ascoli's case. The legend says he was so charmed by the beauty of Ascoli that he just couldn't bring himself to destroy it. I think the strategic importance of the city also had something to do with it.
Oh, it sounds beautiful. And what is the nearest airport? How easy is it to access?
So it's pretty easy to access. The nearest airport is actually in Pescara, which is less than an hour away. In about an hour and 20 minutes, if you go north on the Adriatic coast in Ancona, there's another airport. However, the best airport really to fly into is Rome, mostly because you can find better priced tickets. You can find flights that are more direct, more frequent to that area. Rome has two airports, of course, and it's very well connected with bus systems. Our school also offers a private charter that would come and get students if they arrived at any of the airports. And Rome itself is about 2.5 hours, 2 hours and 45 minutes from here. So certainly not that far. And you have an advantage if you fly into Rome, because you get to travel basically the same road that the Romans traveled from Rome to the Adriatic Sea. It's called La Salaria, which is the salt road that was certainly an important resource in those times. So they were often traveling this way, and the road from Rome to Ascoli follows that same path. Of course, it's paved today, but you get to see a lot of the nice bridges and pathways that really represent this area.
That is amazing. And I was reading on your website, which is internationalacademyantonella.com, that this is a great place to learn Italian because hardly anyone in the area speaks English compared to going to a bigger city.
That's actually a really good point about this area. Not only the language, but the whole culture in general. It's very, very intimate because it hasn't moved into, we can say, the touristic world that it really deserves. People here still retain their old recipes, their old way of life. So not only is the city center still reminiscent of that medieval age and that medieval splendor, but the people in the area also, as you said, don't speak that much English. Give students a fantastic opportunity, because every time you go out, if you want to get a coffee, if you need to ask for directions to get to the bakery, you're forced to ask that in Italian, which is an extreme benefit. I've been on a number of foreign exchange programs, not only myself. When I was young, I did a lot of exchanging to Europe, to South America. I've also led exchange programs for Italian students to other parts of Europe, and students are very timid, I think people in general, to speak a foreign language because they think, what happens if I mess up? What if I sound funny? Well, you don't have that chance to be timid, and you're really pushed into succeeding because every interaction that you have involves you digging into your resources, falling back on the professional lessons that you would get in the academy, and allowing you really to flourish as an Italian language student. I've been to Rome a number of times. It's very close to here. Certainly, our students would go to Rome as well, as we have different trips planned for them to some of the major cities. But while they're here, they are really immersed in the language, they're immersed in the culture. Um, every time you walk out in one of these city squares, and Ascoli is certainly a treasure in this sense. I think one of the best, if not the best, preserved city center in all of Italy. Um, I couldn't say enough about it.
Yeah, it sounds incredible. Let's talk more about the school. Can you go 2 to 3 weeks? Is it a full semester? What's the duration of time for programs there?
Oh, that's a great question. Thanks, Melissa. We offer a 3-month program for our post-secondary educational students. So students that are in university, at college, we have this program that lasts 3 months. So it really mirrors semester in North America. It's a 13-week program, and it allows students to stay without a visa, which is quite nice. So it limits a lot of the paperwork that the students have to do, making it quite easy for them to come just on their passport. We do also offer summer programs, which are 2-week programs. They rotate every 2 weeks, having a week break. Those go from June to August. So basically what we're offering at this time is a gap semester. Students that are looking to complete their personal development away from the university lifestyle, getting to know themselves and another culture a little bit better. And then, of course, coming back to the university, not only having studied and increased their knowledge, but with a fresh perspective on life, who they are, and perhaps the direction they want to take in that life.
Is there a minimum age requirement?
Yes, there is. We have the minimum age requirement of 18.
So this program is for students only, university students. You couldn't, say, go at the age of 60 to do a course at the academy, or could you?
You absolutely could. Even though we are designing it as a university course, it's really a cultural immersion for people of any age. And if someone of 40, 50, 60, 70 years of age was interested in taking a cultural course with us, it would completely be open for them to do so.
That's awesome. And so beyond age, what other requirements are you looking for, and how do people apply?
That's a great question. On our website, again, that's www.internationalacademyantonella.com. We have an application form right there on the website. Just go to admissions, click the application form, has some personal information. So the requirements of being 18 years of age are that you have to have a passport and an open mind. Some kind of interest in Italian culture and language would be beneficial. However, that's not even necessary, because if you come here with an open mind, you're going to see the benefits of this culture. You're going to be amazed, certainly like I was, with everything that it has to offer. We do have a lot of history and culture, as I've gone over before, but it's not the only things that the Piceno province has to offer or even boast about. We have a lot of sandy beaches that are clean. They're well appreciated throughout the European Union. They've gotten what's called the blue flag for clean waters a number of years running. They certainly have entertaining boardwalks, which are very popular among the young people. We have 2 national parks that literally hug Ascoli Piceno. We have the National Park of Monte dei Sibillini, the National Park of Monte della Laga, which are basically our backyard to the city. Both of these really help add to what I would consider the already spectacular scenery. We're so close to the sea, so close to the mountains, and these offer a wealth of outdoor activities from swimming to music clubs, ski slopes, hiking trails, really much more. Kind of brings to mind some of the rarities that we have here and another natural interest that's in the area. Only about 10 minutes from Ascoli, there's the hot springs resort of Acqua Santa Terme. And, these saint waters, these hot springs, which have nearly holy properties, have been known certainly since medieval times for their healing and relaxing properties. Often as my wife and I go there, certainly to slip in to the hot thermal water on wintry nights or even in summer evenings. It's certainly the perfect mix of scenery, activities, culture, history, international experience. Anybody can come, and certainly it's very easy to apply for our school.
Oh, it sounds amazing. How much free time do students get?
So students do have a lot of free time. What our schedule is, in the morning, you would have 2 hours of Italian language lessons. That would be not strict grammar, conversation, reading, games, getting people interactive. And then, as is Italian style, you have a nice long break for lunch. So you have about 4 hours off for lunch. Then you start in the evening your evening classes, either medieval history or Italian culture 101. You have another 2 hours of classes in the afternoon, and then the evening's off as well. We have classes Monday through Friday, and the weekend is for the students to enjoy. We have organized trips to some of the major cities. So we would visit Rome, we would visit Naples, we would visit Venice. Now, each trip or each 3-month section would only visit one of those cities. That would be included in the package of the academy. But if the students wanted to, they certainly could go ahead and travel by themselves. When I came in 2006, I was blown away by the low-cost travel that Europe has to offer. They have low-cost airfares. I took my wife to Spain for the weekend. We paid $20 per ticket. So there's many, many things to do, and certainly students have enough free time to enjoy that.
And what is the accommodation like?
The accommodations are actually fantastic for the students. We have a couple different options. We have what I would term dorm-like, only because they would be sharing a room, but we also have single rooms available at a higher cost if students did want to choose that. They would stay in this resort called Di Sabatino. It's about 100 meters from the school, and it's a 4-star resort. If you go on our website, there's a whole section, a whole page on accommodations with links to the resort as well. And they offer also, included in the package, an Italian-style breakfast. So you get some way to start your day. Certainly, I enjoy that now. If there's any way that I am Italian, it certainly is an Italian breakfast with a nice espresso, homemade pastries, and just chatting with some of the locals, getting your day started with not only a fantastic cup of coffee, but with a connection to that social life. And it's really one of the beautiful things about Italy, and perhaps other parts of Europe as well, is this socialization, which really starts from the time that you get up to the time that you go to bed. All these city squares are really encouraging this interaction between people that feels very friendly, very family-like, even from the first day that you're here as, we can say, a foreign student. You feel like people are really accepting you and really want you to be a part of the conversation. They're very interested in you, and really allows you to express your personal interests and get to know other people quite well.
It sounds great. And what is the cost?
The base cost of the course is 4,800 euros for the course. There is a 500 euro registration fee, which is included in that 4,800. And if you choose the shared room option, it will be 1,800 euros. Now, for a 3-month course, you're looking at a total of 6,600. That's less than 75 euros a day for your lessons, for your room, for your breakfast, for the tours around the town, for the excursions into the mountain, for the organized trip to one of these three major cities that we talked about just moments ago. Certainly is a fantastic price in my opinion, and definitely competitive with other schools. If you look around to see what the prices are, you can see that we have one of the lower prices as far as international exchange programs.
And what parts of the world do your students come from?
We hope people will be coming from Canada. At the moment, we haven't had any Canadian students, but certainly from North America is one of our biggest pulls, but also from Asia. You know, we have a number of different professors that work at our academy. One of them, which actually teaches a master class in music as part of one of our cultural programs. It does individual courses for pianist accompaniment for opera singers, also individual courses for opera singers themselves. And a lot of those students come from China, come from South Korea.
What other types of subjects are available in the cultural classes outside of music?
We have music, we actually have dance, which goes along with the music. There's a number of different traditional dances that are quite interesting. I just want to say one more thing about the music, which is the professor that we have, just to give an idea of the quality of education the students will be receiving. The teacher that we have who teaches this is Maestro Giuseppe Massimo Sabatini. He's got over 40 years of experience. He just came from one of the most prestigious conservatories in Italy, the Conservatorio di Santa Cecilia in Rome. It's actually globally known. But one of the other cultural programs that we have is Enogastronomia, which is designed around the connection between food and wine and how it's important. Our professor for that is Anselmo Calenti. He's not only a master pizza maker for over 25 years, but he's also a restaurant manager for one of the most prestigious cafes in Ascoli, Caffè Meletti, and he's a sommelier. So basically what he's going to do with that sommelier experience, it's designed to recognize the combination between food and wine.
Do you encourage people who have an intermediate or even at an advanced level to come to the academy, or is it more for students who do not know any Italian to begin with?
It's available for any student at any level. When I first came, I didn't even know how to say ciao. This city is the perfect place to nurture a novice speaker or even a speaker with zero experience into being able to feel comfortable getting around any part of Italy, asking for directions, asking for help, expressing themselves in simple ways. But we certainly offer up to advanced, even master's degree levels in Italian language.
And let's go back to your story again. So how long has this school been running? How many years?
This school is actually brand new, which gives a lot of opportunity, not just for the school to be able to adapt to students, but for the students to get in on a school that really tailors itself to the students' needs.
And what was your career before this? What were you doing?
So I was actually a teacher. For 10 years, I've been an English teacher. I've taught in a couple different countries, mainly here in Italy. And as I said before in the program, I've also been a leader of many different cultural exchange programs. So bringing students to Malta, bringing students to Ireland, bringing students outside of Italy in general. So seeing this firsthand, the way that culture can really help shape a person and really help break down barriers in our society, not only that we might have for fear, but also that we might not be able to understand how beautiful another culture can be, really helps stimulate a lot of the passion and energy that I have for our own academy.
This is great. Peter, we have to sign off, but is there anything further that you would like to share to encourage people to come to the International Academy Antonella?
Well, I could talk for days about Ascoli, and I just wanted to give you a couple of the key points of interest that we do have in the city to give you an idea of how broad and varied this town is. I know before I had talked a lot about the medieval aspect of the town, but we have Renaissance churches from the 17th century, which are full of frescoes from that same area, 16th, 15th century fresco arts that decorate the town. We have Catholic Baroque churches from the 14th century, Gothic style churches from before the 1300s. We even have Romanesque style churches from 1070. We have a lot of modern things going on as well. So even though the city really is, in a certain sense, intimate in the Italian culture, has a lot of things going on for young people. In just a couple of weeks, we have what's called Fritto Misto, which is a big food cultural event that brings people from all of Italy. We have open markets every weekend, antique markets once a week. We have civic art museums, modern art museums. And we also have what's called, and I just want to finish with this, a ceramic art museum. I wanted to finish with this because the Ceramic Art Museum kind of is alongside part of one of our programs, which is the Italian Culture 101. So when students learn about something, whether it's pizza, they go out and make pizza. If they learn about olive oil, they go out and they press olive oil fresh. When they learn about ceramic art, they go and they actually make ceramic art. And they learn about one of the most important aspects of Italian culture and the Ascoli Piceno culture. This ceramic art is one of the art forms that they have. It's called maiolica. It's a tin glazed technique. It's kind of stylized by this white background with decorative bright colors, but it's a technique which actually comes from the Renaissance area, and it's still being produced and worked today. And these works, which are also known as historiato, which is being painted with stories, depicts typically historical events or myths, but it really epitomizes the way mythology is underlying this culture and the way that everything that you do in your daily life in Ascoli Piceno and at International Academy Antonella is going to be full of this myth and full of this story. So I would certainly encourage students to come here, starting their own story in Italy and getting to be a part of what this fantastic academy has to offer.
Excellent. I think you have inspired many. I'd be there tomorrow if I could be. So we have been speaking with Peter Tagliaferro, yes? Co-founder of International Academy Antonella. And again, you can